Welcome back, friends of G&K. We're here to bring you a few more concepts to your farm, particularly around fungicide and fungicide timing. This is going to be a two-part dialogue on corn and soybeans. But before we do that, I want to talk about first why we're even doing fungicide. If you know us, we have been pro-fungicide people, particularly in corn. Why is that? Because our number one issue for the last couple of years has been tar spot, and we've also fought northern corn leaf blight and gray leaf spot. But I want to address one thing quickly, and that's the tar spot. And not to sound like a broken record, because we've had a lot of emails and texts sent out about this and a lot of videos that we talk about this. But let's review quickly what drives tar spot. One is cooler temperatures, high humidity, and prolonged leaf wetness. Well, guess what we haven't had is cooler temperatures, high humidity, and prolonged leaf wetness. And generally what it takes is leaf wetness of 6 or 7 hours continuously, and cooler temps, particularly in the 60 to 70s, which we also haven't had. So that's a good thing in terms of tar spot development. That doesn't mean we won't get it eventually, and that doesn't mean it won't come on later. However, it is good defense against it right now, so do keep that in mind. The $1 million question, or maybe I should say $2 million questions, is should I even spray my corn, and when should I spray it? Number one, should I spray my corn? So as we stand today, our answer is still yes. In fact, we should spray corn. Our data is very supportive to fungicide. I would stick to my guns on doing that. We support that decision. Now, if you're watching this video 7 days from now, for example, and we still have not gotten rain, and there's still no rain in sight, and we're still faced with 88 to 90 degree temperatures, our decision could in fact change, but we do still support fungicide because the data is very strong in its favor. So do keep that in mind. So if we're going to do our fungicide, the next thing becomes, what do we put with it? We like to make sure we have some sort of acidification in our water. That increases the half-life of our compounds. We can get longer residual length. We get asked a lot, what nutrition should go in at this time? This is kind of a one-size-fits-all, but some of the nutritional items that we like are manganese, zincs, and borons. Minor elements of this time could be treated or added pretty cheaply and have a pretty profound impact to our crop. One last thing that could be added is sugars. A molasses sugar, for example, can actually help alleviate a little bit of stress, helps the plant build carbohydrates. That can go in with our concoction as well. So just a couple pieces to keep in mind. And again, there's a lot of questions around these, and we ask you to reach out to our team with any questions as it relates to your farm and products. Okay, let's talk about timing. So there's really two elements in terms of timing. One is the time of day, and the second is the time of the growth stage of the corn. Two very important things to manage and to get the best out of your investment. So starting with time of day, we're in mid-afternoon right now. Corn is rolled up. It's hot. It's not very fun to be out here. This is a poor time to be spraying corn. I can tell you, once leaves start rolling, if you make fungicide applications and nutritional applications on a rolled corn leaf, you might as well give that same money to me and I'll go blow it on something else, because it's as if flushing it down the toilet. We have to hit the leaf surface, and we have to get it when the plant stomata are not closed up and under stress. So time of day right now is going to be morning hours, particularly before noon, before the heat stress sets in and before plants start rolling. So the bottom line is, when you see your corn rolled up, it's time to be done. Second part of that is growth stage of the corn itself. So what we're dealing with this year is uneven tassel emergence, and it's because we're under stress. We're under stress, we're under drought stress, we're under heat stress. So you have this variability in development of the plant, and not all the tassels are coming out together. Our suggestion is to wait until majority of all tassels are out. That might mean you have to put a drone in the sky. You might have to stand on the hood of your pickup truck so you can see over the cornfield. You've got to wait till those tassels are out, predominantly all of them, and then give it a couple days to get pollination done, particularly 24 to 48 hours, and then you can start spraying. The warmer weather's in our favor, so if we're giving it more time, we're really not losing anything by waiting on these tassels to emerge. Looking at this field right here, this field is not tasseling evenly. We have a lot of tassels that are yet to emerge and some that are actually have already pollinated the ear. So we need to wait till these things are out. Now keep in mind, a corn leaf will set a new collar or unroll about every 80 heat units. And on an 85 to 88 degree day, we're going to accumulate about 18, 19 heat units a day. And so in every 4 to 4.5 days, we will unroll another leaf. So if you unroll the leaves around your tassel and you have 3 leaves to go before that tassel's out, you probably have a good 12 days yet before that tassel is going to be emerged. So we have cases here where the tassels are fully out and plants where there's a whole leaf to go before that tassel is going to emerge. So it's really important to understand the day's impact to get to that point. So this field in particular we're standing in is actually very close to application. So generally our rule of thumb is to be early on corn, late on beans. This is a scenario where we actually need to be patient on corn because it's not tasseling evenly. So don't be afraid to wait a little bit. Weather's on our side in terms of development of disease. So if we have to wait to be right, it's the better position to be in. Now, let's get out of this hot pollinating field and go look at a couple bean fields and talk about some timing issues there. We got to get this video shot so we can get back to the air-conditioned office. Look how tall these beans are. Just kidding. It's not August 30th. Soybeans are a different animal as compared to corn. And what's our real gainer in fungicide on beans? We don't particularly fight a lot of disease on beans, but what the fungicide does is it keeps the plant healthier, stays green longer, and allows it to maybe add an extra trifoliate or two, and lengthens its maturity out, which the side result of that is usually a larger bean in the pod. And that's where we tend to get a lot of yield bump from our fungicides in that regard, is really lengthening our maturity and a larger seed size. In terms of a timing on soybeans, really the best window to be in is you look at your soybean plant and you count your nodes from the top. And generally the 4th node down, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th node down, when those pods are about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch long, is kind of the beginning of your window. And you most generally have 7 to 10 days to be in a prime spot to be applying fungicide to soybeans. So this plant here is just coming into the window. Now, like we said in corn, our general rule of thumb on corn is to err on the early side. On soybeans, it's to err on the later side. So don't get in a rush to be spraying beans just because you're spraying corn. I really want to give this plant a little bit more time, because keep in mind, the earlier you go on soybeans leaves these last and new trifoliates really uncovered and unprotected. So we really want to try to give ourselves the best length we can. We talked about spraying mornings on corn. You can extend the length of spraying soybeans longer than mornings. Here's what's important on beans. When it gets so hot and dry and those leaves start to roll over and you see more of the backside of the leaf, it's generally time to quit spraying. Let that plant respire, let it reprieve, go back to an evening time frame or resume in the morning. Lastly, what are some good additions to our fungicide in soybeans? It's always a good idea to incorporate an insecticide with your fungicide in terms of beans. In this particular field, we're seeing little to zero feeding, which comes from bean leaf beetle, rootworm beetle, Japanese beetles. We are seeing a few of those, but insecticide is a low cost. You're making the trip, and the benefit of the insecticide is it prevents those 3 pests from feeding on the side of the pod, which aborts the bean in the pod. And usually our experience is you get a really good return on a low cost investment. From a nutritional standpoint, kind of like corn, I like to see manganese, I like to see boron for blossom retention, and zinc can be helpful. So if you keep a sulfur-based micronutrient package in your fungicide and insecticide pass on beans, can usually pay big dividends. Well, hopefully that clears up any questions you may have had in terms of timing, what to put in your spray tank, identifying growth stages or what have you. As always, you can reach out to any one of us on the team. We're here to help. We want to ask questions. Please call us. We'd rather you call us with a question than to do something and guess. Until then, like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you in the next video. We have 12 minutes to happy hour at Steak and Shake. And we're 15 minutes away.